Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this. Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Well, the Denver Nuggets have advanced in the first round of the NBA playoffs with a Game 7 demolition of the Los Angeles Clippers. Nuggets advance 120-101 in a game that was actually not even nearly as close as that final score might indicate. And lead got to 35 points at one point in the second half. Glad to see the Nuggets exercise their demons of around a year ago when they blew a 20-point lead in a Game 7 to the Minnesota Timberwolves and did not advance to the Western Conference Finals for that loss. With a modest halftime lead, Nuggets blew the game wide open with an 18-0 run, started the third quarter, and outscored the Clippers in the third quarter 35-19 in a game which a couple of exciting things happened. One, I was looking back on this, and I want to make sure I got this right. It's been discussed a lot already, but Nuggets offense was incredible in this game, and it wasn't just one guy. Nuggets become the first team in a Game 7 to have 6 players in double figures in points. Aaron Gordon had 22, Christian Brown 21 points, Russell Westbrook 16, Jamal Murray 16, Nikola Jokic 16 points, and Michael Porter Jr. with 15. So a team effort, and that's what it was going to take for this team to win. Balance and not having to rely on either Murray heroics or Nikola Jokic having carried all of the burden, as Zubac on the Clippers is a very, very good defender against Nikola Jokic, which is hard to say, but there are a few guys in the league who really do give Nikola some trouble offensively, and Zubac is one of those guys. So, but yes, this is the Nuggets offense. Starting 5 plus the addition of Russell Westbrook this year. This is a starting 5 that went at their highest end are NBA champions 2 years ago. I know 2 years feels like an eternity in the sports world or the world that we live in now, but this is an offense that on the very highest end, the Nuggets offense is championship worthy, and they've proven that before. And the Clippers have a very good defense, but in this game, the Nuggets were finally firing on all cylinders. Agree. I don't know. That has to do with whether Michael Malone was putting too much emphasis on the defense, was gritting his teeth through too many timeouts about what they were not doing defensively. This is not a special group defensively. Quite frankly, it wasn't truly a special group when they won the whole thing 2 years ago. It was good enough. Offensively, though, the Nuggets are special. And as someone who's watched Nuggets offense in person, including Nikola Jokic's historic 61 point triple-double a couple weeks ago against the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's amazing to watch in person. But Jokic can't do it by himself. And in that 61-point triple-double that I just referenced, the Nuggets lost the game. So when Nikola Jokic has to carry the entire offensive load, it really isn't good. It's not good at all. It wears him down. It's not the best that the Nuggets can be. So, are the Nuggets over-reliant on their starters to produce points? Yes. Do they have basically no bench outside of Russell Westbrook? Yeah. It's a lack of a bench. The reason why the coach and the GM are no longer employed by the Denver Nuggets? Yeah. Does it matter right now? Probably in the next series. Is it too late to fix this year? Yep. It's too late. This is what the Nuggets are right now. But on their high side, they're amazing, and they can play with anybody. And honestly, I'd rather have the high upside of the 5 starters and Russ, then sort of 2 or 3 guys where you don't really know if anybody can score other than Jokic and Murray. Um, MPJ is obviously hurt. He's hurt. But even when he's healthy, which is pretty rare, he can be horribly inconsistent even when he's healthy. So it's going to be a lot of up and down with him. Christian Brown honestly was sort of the wild card in this game with him scoring 21 points. But he's an NBA player. He may be viewed as the weakest of the starting 5. Certainly in terms of the contract says that as well. But he's an NCAA champion at Kansas. He's an NBA champion with the Nuggets. He's gotten better every year that he's been there. So he had a great game. But the main man, Nikola Jokic, his series stats for the Clippers, 2025 playoffs, he's averaged 24 points, 11.6 rebounds, 10.1 assists in 7 games. And 2.3 steals and about a block, but that's no big deal. And he's basically shooting around 50% field goal from anywhere on the court. It's really amazing. So Nikola Jokic averaging 24, 11, and 10 for the playoffs. And of course, we're also getting a nice sample size because when you play the same team 7 times in a row, 7 games in a row, you get a real clear picture of what a certain team can do against you and what you can do against them. And clearly the Nuggets were able to put all of the pieces, I would say, together in one final game at home in front of their home fans. And back to my prediction, I thought the Nuggets would win in 7. I thought home court would be a tremendous advantage for both teams in this series. Clippers obviously used it to their advantage in Game 6, but the Nuggets had the final say in a deciding Game 7, in which they were able to advance on their home floor. And speaking of Game 7, this is now the second time that the Denver Nuggets in the last 5 years have beaten the Los Angeles Clippers in a series in which the Denver Nuggets trailed by games in the series. This time it was 2-1 in 2020, and the bubble is 3-1, and the Nuggets came back to win that series. So the Nuggets have come back to, I guess, in a slight upset this year. I wouldn't call it an upset, but the betting markets have the Clippers favored. A lot of people who I read, respect, had the Clippers, and with good reason. I went through it on the preview pod. The Clippers definitely had a much more consistent and better play towards the end of the regular season. But the part about the Clippers, 2-part. One is the Clippers. Yes, they have a new owner with Steve Ballmer, as opposed to the disaster Donald Sterling. Such a disaster that they actually made a show, which I have not watched, on FX called Clipped, which is about how all of the weird things Donald Sterling was a part of and why this franchise has basically been the butt of many jokes for its entire existence. So, and the Nuggets, certainly before Nikola Jokic, had a, at best, checkered past. Denver doesn't have a rich NBA history. They've had spurts where they've been good, but Denver had never even made an NBA Finals until 2 years ago. Had never made an NBA Finals in their entire history, which goes back to the 70s merger with the ABA. But the Clippers are going to clip. They're going to clip. And part of that clipping is James Harden, who they've decided to give a ton of money to. They traded a ton of draft capital to acquire from Philadelphia. And it's James Harden. I don't trust James Harden. James Harden played in one NBA Finals many, many years ago when he was the third wheel behind Russell Westbrook, who now plays for the Nuggets, and Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder, a series in which they lost 4-1, and he wasn't very good. And I saw this little graphic today as I'm gathering information on ESPN. James Harden in Game 7s, 2011, 17 points, 60% field goal. Pretty good, but lost, didn't do anything with that one. Sorry, won that game. They won. He had 31 points in 2015. Lost with 41% field goal percentage, 32 points. Won with 17 points in 2020. He was not on the Clippers at that time. But the last couple ones in the last 4 years, 22 points on 29% field goal percentage in 21 when he was a member of the Brooklyn Nets. 9 points on 27% field goal percentage in Philadelphia in 2023. And this one, I actually thought about maybe I should do a shirt. We should print out a shirt for James Harden. It's called 7 for 7 because he had 7 points in a game 7 against the Nuggets in this game. 7 points. He basically didn't shoot the ball. He only had 11 points in a critical game 5. So 2 of the games in which you could argue he really needed to be their second base player, he was a no-show. Both those games were in Denver. Both those games the Denver Nuggets won. He basically got worse as the series moved on, not better. Christian Braun, Harden likes to do a lot of his tricky, herky-jerky stuff that sort of works when you only see him once. When you see him 7 games in a row, Christian Braun's a smart guy. He figured it out. Don't fall for the tricks. And the other part of it is that this is playoff basketball. The refs are not going to give him all the calls that he's used to getting during the regular season. You're not going to get those calls. So if you can't get those calls and you're going to, screw around, no one's going to bail you out. And certainly I'm glad the Nuggets didn't fall for it. And the reason why James Harden is so important is that he's really supposed to be the second best player on the Clippers. And I'd be saying the same thing, crushing Jamal Murray if the Nuggets had lost this series, because Jamal is the Nuggets' second best player. And when your second best player gets 7 points in a must win or go home game for your season, you deserve all of the criticism that you're going to get. I don't care. I'm not a James Harden fan. He hasn't played on any team that I ever root for. I've watched him from afar, but he is the epitome of a regular season performer who shrinks in the playoffs. And I'm certainly glad he's not on any team I root for, because when you're in the James Harden business, this is kind of what you get. On top of the culture of the Clippers, which, all you have to say is, it's the Clippers. It's the Clippers. They don't win anything. They've never won anything in their history. They've never even made an NBA, speaking of not making an NBA finals like the Nuggets, they've never made an NBA finals. Never. So, good win for the Nuggets. I'm happy that they were able to prove themselves. I said in the beginning it wasn't going to be easy. It's not that the Clippers are that bad, but they do find a way to shrink in big moments. The Nuggets elevated in the biggest moment, which was Game 7 at home, and now they get to face their next opponent, which will be quite a different story in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Looking ahead to the Denver Nuggets, they play Monday evening tonight in Oklahoma City. So they get about a day off, and this is the NBA playoffs. You're pretty much playing every other day. Nuggets, of course, being 4 seed playing the 1 seed OKC Thunder, no longer have home court advantage. And the only way they would have home court advantage again is if they were able to upset the Oklahoma City Thunder, where the Golden State Warriors and the Timberwolves are 6-7 respectively in their seeding in the West. So the Nuggets would go back to having home court if they were to advance in the Western Conference Finals. Nuggets and Thunder split the season series 2-2, including an opening NBA season game in which the Nuggets lost. But the Nuggets also had a very prolific offensive day on the last game time they played them, which was March 10th, in which they hung 140 points on this Thunder team that was playing everybody. They weren't resting people. Nuggets, again, as I have harped on earlier, the Nuggets offense, 140 on the Thunder is not to be taken lightly. And that's how they're going to have to win this series, because they're not good enough, they being the Nuggets, are not good enough to stop this Thunder team. This Thunder team has set some NBA records some of their offense and their wins. And history says if you win as many games as they have this year, you should win the NBA title. However, the Thunder had the league's best record last year and were upset by the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I think the only way the Nuggets truly have a shot at this is to have their offense be amazing. Obviously, the Nuggets have a championship pedigree in which the starting five and some of the Nuggets bench players have rings. This OKC team does not have any of that. They're young, they're deep, but they have not won anything yet. And until you do it in the NBA, until you prove it, there will be doubt. However, that being said, and also the Thunder, I was going to say, are very well rested. They took care of business against the hapless Memphis Grizzlies 4-0 in their first round series. The last game was somewhat close, but that's only because Memphis decided to show up for one of the 4 games and give them a bit of a series in the final game. But other than that, it was a glorified scrimmage for the Thunder. They deserve all the credit for that. They are well rested. I was looking at today. They've basically been resting for a month and a half. And for a young team that doesn't really need the rest because they're young anyway, that could be rough for the Nuggets. I guess I've been thinking about how I'm going to pick this. I think, unfortunately, this is where the Nuggets are going to find reality in that they are capable of winning this series. But I am not going to pick the Nuggets to win this series. I have tremendous respect for some of the local guys I listen to around town, but people always pick the hometown team to win basically every game or every series, which I always kind of laugh at. I'm not picking the Nuggets to win. I think they will put up very good home efforts. I wouldn't be surprised if this is basically mostly home team dominated, meaning the OKC Thunder win 2, the Nuggets might win 2 at home. Game 5 would be back in OKC. I have Oklahoma City winning that game, going up 3-2, coming back to Denver, and unfortunately winning Game 6 in the Mile High City. So my official prediction is Oklahoma City Thunder 4, Denver Nuggets 2. I will be very happy to be very wrong. I'll have no problem being wrong. If this series happened to go 7, I would still favor Oklahoma City because of that final, home game in Game 7. But I think Oklahoma City learned a lot last year when they had the league's best record, and they lost in the playoffs. And that's part of the growing process. They've grown a lot. They're really, really good. They're better than everybody in the Western Conference by a pretty significant margin. And as much as I love Nikola Jokic, you could make the argument, and I'm sure MVP voters have, the SGA is just as an impressive player for the Thunder. Anyways, it doesn't stop now. It keeps going. Nuggets start a 7-game Western Conference semifinals tonight in Oklahoma City, and I can't wait to talk about it with you as the Nuggets continue with their season. And if it goes 7 games, that means I get to do more of this, which is a lot of fun. So anyways, thanks again for joining me. My name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports 82 YouTube podcast, and I will be back after Game 1, Denver Nuggets, OKC Thunder. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks for listening.